Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Random Topics with Jack, where we explore the intriguing and sometimes controversial topics that shape our understanding of the world. Today we're taking a journey into the hidden world of the mathematics of music. You know, the kind of math that doesn't involve algebra or geometry, but rather the secret language of sound that makes music so powerful and moving. Last week we delved into the complex world of chocolate, from its history to its science. But this week, we're switching gears to explore a different kind of sweetness. The kind that comes from understanding the mathematical patterns behind the music that we love. We'll be exploring the basics of sound, how intervals and ratios create harmony, and how rhythm and time signatures are built on mathematical principles. And if you're wondering how all this math translates into the emotions that music evokes, we'll touch on that too. So buckle up, music lovers, because we're about to embark on a journey that's sure to be a real harmonic experience. Let's get started. So we'll start by diving into the very foundation of music, sound itself. Now you might think sound is just something that you hear, but it's actually a fascinating phenomenon with a lot of science behind it. Sound is created by vibrations, tiny movements that travel through the air, or any medium for that matter, as waves. Imagine a tuning fork, if you will. When you hit it, it vibrates, and those vibrations travel through the air to your ears. And here's where the math comes in. The frequency of a sound wave is simply the number of times it vibrates a second. We measure this frequency in hertz, or Hz. So a sound wave that vibrates 100 times a second has a frequency of 100 hertz. Think of it like a metronome ticking away at a steady pace. Each tick is like a vibration, and the frequency tells us how many ticks happen in 1 second. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with music? Well, that's where pitch comes in. Pitch is what we perceive as the highness or lowness of a sound. And guess what? Pitch is directly related to frequency. A higher frequency corresponds to higher pitch, and a lower frequency corresponds to lower pitch. Think about it like this. A tiny fast vibrating sound wave creates high notes, like a piccolo, while slow, large vibrations create a low note, like a tuba. It's like a seesaw, really. The faster the vibrations, the higher the pitch goes. The slower the vibrations, the lower it goes. So next time you hear a beautiful melody, remember that you're actually listening to a symphony of frequencies, each one contributing to the overall sound and emotion of the music. And that's quite amazing. And we're just scratching the surface. There's so much more to explore when it comes to the mathematics of music. And we're going to dive into this deeper as we go along. And we're going to look at the fascinating world of musical intervals and ratios. We've established that an interval is the distance between two notes, and that this distance is defined by the ratio of their frequencies. Imagine two notes, one with a frequency of 200 Hz and another with a frequency of 400 Hz. The higher note has twice the frequency of the lower note, creating a perfect octave. This 2-to-1 ratio is what gives the octave its characteristic sense of completion and resolution, making it a fundamental building block in music. But intervals are not limited to octaves. Another important interval is the perfect fifth, which has a 3-to-2 frequency ratio. That means if one note has a frequency of 300 Hz, the note a perfect fifth above it will have a frequency of 450 Hz. So 300 times 3 divided by 2 is 450. If anyone wants to know the math there. The perfect fifth is often used to create a sense of tension and excitement in music, contrasting with the stable feeling of an octave. And these frequency ratios are not just mathematical concepts, they are the foundation of the harmony and beauty that we experience in music. The specific ratios between notes create unique sounds and emotions, influencing the overall feel and character of a musical piece. From the simple joy of a major chord to the dramatic tension of a minor chord, it's all about these carefully chosen frequency relationships. And talking about chords, they are combinations of 3 or more notes played simultaneously. They add depth and harmony to music, creating a sense of richness and complexity. Just as scales provide the framework for melodies, which we will cover in a minute, chords provide the foundation for harmonies. Major chords built with a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth sound bright and happy, while minor chords with a root and a minor third and a perfect fifth have a more melancholic sound. Other chords like diminished and augmented chords create tension and are often used to lead into other chords. Scales, which we just mentioned, they're a sequence of notes arranged in ascending or descending order. Think of it as the musical alphabet from which melodies and harmonies are built. Imagine a ladder with rungs, each rung representing a note in the scale. The specific arrangement of these notes determines the character and sound of the scale. There are many different types of scales, each with its own unique flavour. The most common are the major scale, which is bright and happy, and the minor scale, which is often associated with sadness or melancholy. The chromatic scale includes all 12 notes within an octave, moving in half steps, creating a sense of tension and chromaticism. So the relationship between scales and chords is a fascinating one. Each scale has specific chords that can be built from its notes. For example, in the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you can form the following chords: C major, C, E, G, D minor, D, F, A, E minor, E, G, B, F major, F, A, C, G major, G, B, D, A minor, A, C, E, and B diminished, B, D, F. This relationship allows musicians to create melodies that fit harmoniously with the chords being played. Understanding scales and chords is essential for anyone looking to compose or perform music. They provide the building blocks for creating melodies and harmonies that will resonate with listeners. Another important part of music is rhythm, which is the arrangement of sounds and silences in music. It's the pulse, the groove, the heartbeat that gives music its life and character. Think of it as the way music moves in time. And speaking of time, the way we understand understand rhythm and beat is through time signatures, which are musical blueprints, indicating the number of beats per measure and the type of note that receives one beat. They are written as fractions, with the top number representing the number of beats per measure, and the bottom number indicating the type of note that receives one beat. For example, 4/4 time is the most common time signature. It means there's 4 beats per measure, and a quarter note receives 1 beat. 3/4 time has 3 beats per measure, with a quarter note receiving 1 beat. 2/4 time has 2 beats per measure, with a quarter note receiving 1 beat. So, to understand the feel of different time signatures, let's imagine some musical examples from the ones we've just mentioned. So 4/4 time, imagine a marching band playing a steady 4-beat rhythm. The music feels strong and stable. 3/4 time is a waltz with its graceful 3-beat rhythm. It's flowing and elegant. A simple 2-beat rhythm would be like a heartbeat or a metronome. It's straightforward and energetic. Time signatures play a crucial role in shaping the character and feel of music. They provide the framework for rhythm, allowing musicians to create a wide range of musical expressions. But beyond these familiar 4/4 and 3/4 time signatures, there are many unconventional ones that add unique flavours to music. These wacky, unique, sometimes a bit odd time signatures often challenge musicians and listeners alike, creating intriguing rhythmic patterns that stand out. Here are a couple of examples. March of the Pigs by 9 Inch Nails is in 29/8 time signature, which contributes to a frenetic and unpredictable feel, enhancing the song's intensity and driving energy. Split Open and Melt by Fish has a jam section which features a 33/8 time signature, which creates a complex flowing rhythm that can feel both expansive and intricate. The Ganondorf battle music from Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which was composed by Koji Kondo, uses predominantly 23/16 time signature, which gives it an epic and adventurous feel, but it also features sections in 17/16 as a polymeter, further adding complexity, along with a stray section in 4/4 for contrast. The Black Page No. 2 by Frank Zappa, known for its intricate rhythms, this piece uses a 15/8 time signature, showcasing Zappa's innovative approach to composition. Schism by Tool is in 11/8. Take 5 by Dave Brubeck is a jazz piece in 5/4. Money by Pink Floyd, the iconic track, uses 7/8 time signature, which creates an off-kilter rhythm that enhances its lyrical themes. These unusual time signatures not only challenge musicians, but also create distinctive listening experiences. They can evoke a range of emotions and enhance the storytelling aspect of music. Here are a few points to consider. Complexity. These wacky time signatures often require musicians to think outside the box. Rhythmic interest. They keep listeners engaged by breaking the predictability of standard time signatures. And genre exploration. Many prog rock, jazz, and experimental genres frequently utilize these time signatures to push the boundaries. But music also has an incredible ability to evoke a wide range of emotions in us. It can make us feel happy, sad, excited, calm, nostalgic, and everything in between. The emotional power is deeply intertwined with the very structure of music itself. The arrangements of notes, rhythms, and harmonies creates patterns that our brains recognize and respond to. These patterns can trigger specific emotional responses. For example, as we've touched on, major scales are often associated with happiness and joy, while minor scales can invoke sadness or melancholy. The tempo of a piece can also play a significant role in how we feel. Faster tempos are often associated with excitement and energy, while slower tempos can invoke feelings of calmness or introspection. And brain imaging studies have shown that different parts of the brain are activated when we listen to music. This suggests that music engages multiple cognitive and emotional processes. Areas associated with pleasure, reward, and memory are often stimulated, explaining why music can be so powerful in influencing our moods and memories. There's a certain song that takes me back to my childhood. It's called A Smart Kid by Porcupine Tree, and it's one of the few bands that we regularly listen to. I remember hearing it for the first time in the car, just as a wee Wayne, and being captivated by the way they built such a powerful atmosphere with so few instruments. It felt like a story unfolding, and I was completely drawn in. The music has a certain melancholy to it, but it's a comforting kind of sadness, like a warm blanket on a cold day. It always gives me goosebumps and makes me feel just that wee bit more relaxed. And I often think about how much better it sounded live the first time I saw them perform it. It was like the song came alive in a whole new way. It's a song that brings back a flood of memories, reminding me of those car rides with my brother and sister and my mum and dad, the albums that we listened to, and all that time of my life. The relationship between music and emotion is a complex and fascinating one. It's a testament to the power of music to touch us on a deep and personal level. So we've explored the fascinating world of music and its connection to mathematics, as well as how melodies and harmonies can invoke powerful emotions, and how those emotions are rooted in the very structure of music itself. We've even delved into the science behind it, discovering how different parts of our brains light up when we listen. But next time, get ready to warp your mind as we journey into the realm of faster than light travel. With the algebra drive, we'll be exploring the science, the possibilities, and the mind-bending implications of bending space-time itself. As always, I've been your host, Jack, and until next time, keep questioning and exploring.